You are reading this sentence right now. That much is obvious. But stay with me for a moment, not with the meaning of the words, we'll get to that, but with the bare fact that these words are appearing somewhere. They're showing up, being registered, landing. Where? You might say, in my mind, in my head. In my field of vision if you're reading on a screen, or in the theater of imagination if someone is reading this aloud to you. All of that is true. But go one step closer to the thing itself. These words are appearing to something. They are being witnessed, known, met. What is doing the meeting? That's the question we're going to live inside for a while. Not to answer it, because the answer isn't the kind of thing you can wrap in a sentence and carry away, but to look directly at what the question is pointing to turn your attention all the way around and notice what's already here, what has been here the entire time, closer than your own breath. You've spent your whole life assuming you know what you are, the person with your name, the one who woke up this morning, who has plans later, who remembers yesterday, the one who gets tired, gets excited, gets confused. That's the working model. It served you well. It gets you through the day. But right now, in this moment, something is aware of these words. Something is reading. And if you look carefully, not with effort, but with a kind of gentle, curious attention, you might notice that the thing aware of these words is not quite the same as the person you've been calling yourself. It's wider, quieter. It doesn't have a name. Let me show you what I mean. Think about this morning. Not the whole morning, just one moment. Maybe you were making coffee, pouring water into the machine, or waiting for the kettle to boil. Your body was there, your hands were moving. Thoughts were drifting through, what you needed to do today, a conversation you had yesterday, some half-formed worry you couldn't quite name. But underneath all of that, something was simply there, aware of the kitchen, aware of the sound of water, aware of the thoughts themselves arriving and dissolving like clouds. You didn't think about that awareness. It wasn't on your to-do list. It didn't announce itself. But it was there, the way the screen is there behind the movie, or the way silence is there behind sound. That awareness, that bare, simple knowing, is what I'm pointing to. It's what's reading these words right now. Here's what's strange. You've never not been that awareness. It's been with you every moment of your life, every single experience you've ever had, every joy, every fear, every mundane Tuesday afternoon has appeared within it. And yet somehow you've spent most of your life convinced that you are the contents of awareness rather than awareness itself. You think you are the thoughts, the emotions, the sensations, the story of who you've been and who you're trying to become. But what if that's backwards? What if you've been living in a movie, absorbed in the plot, while the light of the projector has been shining silently the whole time, making every scene possible? I want you to try something. It won't take long, and I'm not asking you to believe anything or achieve any special state. Just do this with me, gently. Notice the sensation of your breath. Don't change it, don't deepen it. Just feel it moving in and out. Now notice that you're noticing. There's the breath, and then there's the awareness of the breath. Two different things. The breath is an object, a thing arising in your experience. But the awareness of the breath isn't an object, it's not a thing. It's the space in which the breath appears. Now notice the thoughts moving through your mind right now. Maybe you're thinking about what I just said. Maybe you're thinking about something else entirely. Maybe you're thinking, I'm not sure I'm doing this right. Whatever the thought is, notice it. And then notice that you're noticing it. The thought is an object. The awareness of the thought is not. Do you see it? The thought comes and goes. It arrives, it lingers for a moment, it dissolves. But the awareness that knows the thought, that doesn't come and go. It's already here. It was here before the thought arose. It will be here after the thought fades. It's here right now, holding this entire experience. This awareness, this silent, spacious knowing, doesn't have edges. It doesn't have a location. If I ask you to point to where your awareness is, you might point to your head. But that's not quite right, is it? Your head is something you're aware of. The awareness itself is prior to the head, prior to the body, prior to any sense of being located anywhere at all. And it doesn't have a beginning or an end in time either. You can remember the past and you can imagine the future. But both of those, the memory and the imagination, are happening now, in this timeless present moment where awareness has always been. Think about it. Have you ever experienced anything outside of now? Not the idea of now, not the concept, the actual living now. This one, the one in which these words are appearing. Every moment of your entire life has been now. Even the future, when it arrives, will arrive as now. The past, when you remember it, is remembered now. Time is something that appears in awareness. But awareness itself is outside of time. I know this might sound abstract. Let me ground it in something ordinary. You're sitting somewhere right now, maybe in a chair, maybe on a couch, maybe standing, leaning against something. Your body has weight. It's pressing into whatever surface is beneath it. That's a sensation, a real, tangible, physical feeling. Now notice who is feeling that sensation. You might say, I am, and that's true. But what is the I that's feeling it? Is it your body? No, the body is what's being felt. The sensation of pressure, of weight, of contact, those are objects of awareness. They're things appearing in your experience. Is it your mind? Closer, maybe. But the mind is also something you're aware of. You can watch your thoughts. You can notice when your mind is calm or restless, clear or foggy. So the mind, too, is an object. The I that's aware of all of this, the body, the mind, the sensations, the thoughts, is not any of those things. It's the awareness itself. And here's the unsettling part. When you look for that awareness, when you try to pin it down or describe it or locate it, you can't. It's not a thing. It's not an object. It's the subject, the witness, the knowing. You can't see it because it's what's doing the seeing. You can't think about it because it's what's aware of the thinking. It's closer to you than your own heartbeat. It is you, in a way that's more fundamental than anything else you've ever called yourself. But because it has no shape, no color, no sound, no location, it's easy to overlook. You've been overlooking it your entire life. Until now. Because right now, if you're paying attention, and I mean really paying attention, not with effort, but with a kind of soft, open curiosity, you can notice it. You can feel the edges of it. Or rather, you can feel the absence of edges, the spaciousness, the quiet. It's not something you have to create or achieve. It's already here. It's what you are. Let me complicate this because it gets stranger the longer you look. If awareness is what you are, not the body, not the mind, not the story of your life, then who is the person you've been calling yourself all these years? That person, let's call them your character, your persona, your self-concept, is real. I'm not saying it's an illusion. You have a name, you have a history, you have preferences, habits, fears, dreams. All of that is true. But it's true in the same way a character in a movie is true. The character has a story. The character does things, says things, experiences things. But the character is not the screen. The character appears on the screen. You, the awareness reading these words, are the screen. And the person you've been calling yourself? That's the character. The character is convincing. It feels real. It feels like the most real thing in the world, because you've been identified with it for so long. You've spent your whole life inside the character's perspective, seeing through the character's eyes, feeling the character's feelings. But the character is not what's aware. The character is what awareness is aware of. Think about a moment when you were completely absorbed in something. Maybe you were watching a movie or reading a book or lost in conversation with someone you love. For a little while, the sense of being a separate self, the you with all its worries and plans, faded into the background. It was just the movie, the book, the conversation, just the experience unfolding. In those moments, where did you go? You didn't go anywhere. You were still there. But the character, the self-concept, the mental narrative of me and my life got quiet for a moment. And in that quietness, it was just awareness, just presence, just the open space in which the experience was happening. That's what you are all the time. But most of the time, the character is so loud, so insistent, that you forget. You think you are the character. You think you are the thoughts, the emotions, the body, the life story. But you're not. You're the awareness in which all of that appears. And here's the thing. The character doesn't disappear when you realize this. Your life doesn't fall apart. You don't stop having preferences or making plans or caring about things. The character keeps going. The movie keeps playing. But you, the awareness, stop believing that you are the character. You stop being hypnotized by the plot. And that changes everything. Because the character suffers. The character worries about the future and regrets the past. The character feels inadequate, feels misunderstood, feels afraid. The character wants things to be different than they are. But the awareness? The awareness is already whole, already complete, already at peace. It doesn't need anything. It's not trying to get anywhere. It's not broken. It's not incomplete. It's just here, witnessing, knowing, holding it all. When you realize that you are the awareness, not the character, something softens, the grip loosens. The fears don't disappear, but they're held differently. The pain doesn't vanish, but it's not the end of the world anymore, because you remember, I am not the pain. I am the space in which the pain appears. I am not the fear. I am the awareness that knows the fear. I am not the story. I am the silence beneath the story. Let me take you somewhere else for a moment. Imagine you're walking down a street at night. It's late, the stores are closed, the sidewalk is empty. Your footsteps echo off the buildings. You pass a window, and in the window you catch a glimpse of your reflection. For a split second, just a flash, you don't recognize yourself. The face in the glass is a stranger's face. And then, almost instantly, recognition kicks in. Oh, that's me. But in that split second before recognition, there was something else, a kind of openness, a not knowing. The reflection was just a shape, a pattern of light and shadow before the mind labeled it as me. That moment of not knowing is closer to the truth than the recognition that follows. Because the face in the window isn't you. It's an image, a reflection, a temporary arrangement of light. And the body walking down the street isn't you either. It's another image, another object appearing in awareness. You, the awareness, are what's watching the body walk, what's seeing the reflection, what's noticing the moment of recognition and the moment of not knowing. You're the witness, the screen, the open space. And the strange thing is, once you start to see this, you start to see it everywhere. You're sitting in a meeting at work. Someone is talking, you're listening. But underneath the listening, there's a quiet awareness that knows it's listening, that's aware of the sound of the voice, the meaning of the words, the feeling of your body in the chair, the thought that just drifted by about what you're going to have for dinner. All of that is happening inside awareness, like objects floating in a vast, clear space. You're arguing with someone you love. The anger is real, the hurt is real. But underneath the anger and the hurt, there's a part of you, no, not a part, the whole of you, that's simply watching it all unfold. Not detached, not cold, just present, just here. You're lying in bed at night, unable to sleep. Thoughts are racing, worries are piling up. But in the background, there's a stillness that's not caught up in the thoughts, a silence that's not disturbed by the worry. That's what you are. And once you start to recognize it, once you start to rest in it, something fundamental shifts. The world doesn't change. Your life doesn't suddenly become easy or perfect. Problems still arise, pain still comes, but you're not fighting it the same way anymore. You're not resisting what is, because you see that resistance is just another object arising in awareness, another wave on the surface of the ocean. And you, the awareness, the ocean, are big enough to hold it all. Now, I want to be clear about something. This isn't an escape. It's not a way to avoid your life or bypass your pain. It's not a spiritual shortcut to permanent bliss. People sometimes hear about awareness, about witnessing, about the true self, and they think it's a way to transcend the messiness of being human, to rise above it all, to become untouchable. That's not what this is. The awareness I'm pointing to doesn't float above life. It's not separate from life. It's not watching from a distance, safe and removed. It's intimate. It's here. It's soaked into every moment, every sensation, every breath. When you rest in awareness, you don't become less human. You become more human, more alive, more present. Because you're not lost in the story anymore. You're not hypnotized by the character's drama. You're here, in the raw, immediate, vivid reality of this moment. And this moment is enough. Not because it's perfect, not because it's pleasant, but because it's real, it's alive, it's happening. And you, the awareness, are what makes it possible. Without awareness, there is no experience, no world, no life. Everything you've ever known, everything you've ever felt, everything you've ever loved, all of it has appeared in awareness. All of it has been held by awareness. All of it has been made real by the simple fact that it was witnessed. You are the witness. And the witness is not small. It's not limited. It's not confined to the boundaries of your body or the span of your lifetime. The awareness reading these words right now is the same awareness that's reading these words in every person who encounters them. The same awareness that's watching the sun rise. The same awareness that's holding the entire universe. I know that sounds grandiose, maybe even absurd, but stay with me. Close your eyes for a moment, or don't close them. Just soften your gaze and turn your attention inward. Notice the awareness that's here right now, the simple, open knowing. Does it have a size? Does it have a shape? Can you find where it begins and where it ends? You can't. because it doesn't have edges. It's not a thing in space. And if it doesn't have edges, then how can it be separate from anything else? The body has edges, the mind has edges, the character has edges. But awareness? Awareness is boundless. And if your awareness is boundless and my awareness is boundless, then where is the line between them? There isn't one. We feel separate because we're identified with our characters. We're looking out from inside the story, and from inside the story there are boundaries. There's me and you. There's here and there. There's mine and yours. But step back into awareness, into the space before the story begins, and the boundaries dissolve. Not in some vague, metaphorical sense, actually, directly. Because the awareness that's reading these words in you is not different from the awareness that wrote them. It's the same knowing, the same presence, the same open space. We're not two separate awarenesses, happening to encounter each other through the medium of language. We're one awareness, playing at separation, pretending to be many, forgetting what we are so we can discover it again. This is the great game, the cosmic play, and you're in it right now, whether you know it or not. But here's the beautiful, terrifying thing. You can wake up inside the game. You can remember what you are while still playing the part. The character keeps going, the life continues. But you, the awareness, stop being fooled by the character's insistence that it's all there is. And when you stop being fooled, the character becomes lighter, more flexible, more spacious. The fears are still there, but they don't crush you. The desires are still there, but they don't possess you. The pain is still there, but it's not the whole truth. Because the whole truth is this: you are vast. You are luminous. You are already free. You've always been free. You just forgot for a while. Let me bring this back to the ground. You're going to finish reading this soon. You're going to stand up or close the tab or move on to the next thing. Your day is going to continue. The character is going to keep doing its thing. But maybe, and this is all I'm hoping for, maybe you'll remember just for a moment that you're not the character. You're the awareness. Maybe tonight, when you're lying in bed, when the thoughts are swirling and the day's regrets are piling up, you'll remember to turn your attention back to the awareness itself, to notice the silence beneath the noise, to rest in the open space. Maybe tomorrow morning, when you're rushing to get ready, when the to-do list is screaming at you, you'll pause for just a breath and notice something is aware of all of this. And that something, that quiet, spacious knowing, is not in a hurry, is not worried, is not incomplete. Maybe the next time you're scared or angry or sad, you'll remember that the fear, the anger, the sadness, they're all objects, they're all waves on the surface, and you are the ocean. You don't have to fight the waves. You don't have to make them stop. You don't have to calm the surface. You just have to remember what you are. And when you remember, everything softens. The grip loosens. The weight lifts just a little. Because you see, I am still here. I am still breathing. I am still aware. And that's enough. That's always been enough. This isn't something you have to earn. It's not something you have to achieve. It's not waiting for you at the end of some long spiritual journey. It's here, now. It's what's reading these words. It's what's been here the entire time. Closer than your breath, quiet. quieter than silence, simpler than thought. You are the awareness, and the awareness is home. You've never left. You've just been looking everywhere else. But now, maybe, you can stop looking. You can turn your attention back to what's already here, to what's always been here, to the one who's aware of these words right now. That's you. Not the character, not the story, not the body or the mind or the life you've been living. Just the awareness. Just the open, luminous space in which everything appears. That's what you are. And once you know that, really know it, not as an idea, but as a lived truth, nothing is ever quite the same again. The world doesn't change, but your relationship to it does. The suffering doesn't disappear, but it's held differently. The story continues, but you're no longer lost in it. You're here, awake, present, watching, knowing, holding it all. And that's enough. That's more than enough. That's everything. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Don't just read this and move on. Don't let it be another interesting idea you file away and forget. Take a moment right now and notice. Actually notice. Not the content of your experience, the thoughts, the sensations, the sounds, but the awareness itself. The space in which all of that is happening. Just for a breath. Just for a moment. Feel what it's like to be the screen instead of the movie. And then, if something in this landed for you, if something opened, even just a crack, leave me a sentence in the comments. Write it in first person, make it true. Something like, I am the awareness that knows these words. I am the stillness beneath the noise. I am the space where everything appears. Don't copy mine, find your own. Let it come from the place this piece touched in you. That's how I'll know you stayed until the end. That's how I'll know this reached you. And if you want to keep going, if this stirred something in you that wants to unfold further, there are more pieces waiting for you on the screen. Different questions, different angles. The same quiet invitation to remember what you are. Watch one if it calls to you, or don't. Either way, you're already home. You always have been.